നമോ ഭഗവതേ വാസുദേവായ. ഓം നമോ നാരായണായ. ഓം നമോ ധന്വന്തരയേ നമഃ. ഓം ശ്രീ ഗുരുഭ്യോ നമഃ. ഓം ഗജാനനം ഭൂതഗണാതിസേവിതം കപിത്ഥജംബൂഫലസാരഭക്ഷിതം ഉമാസുതം ശോകവിനാശകാരണം നമാമി വിഘ്നേശ്വരപാദപങ്കജം. ഓം ശ്രീ ഗണേശായ നമഃ. അവിഘ്നമസ്തു. ഓം ശ്രീ ഗുരുഭ്യോ നമഃ. Salutations to all my masters. Salutations to Malliyoor Sri Shankaran Nambudiri and his family, and salutations to all who have gathered here. ഇന്ന് എന്നെ കേൾക്കാനിരിക്കുന്നവരിൽ കൂടുതൽ ആളുകളും മലയാളം അറിയാത്തവരും ആംഗലേയ ഭാഷ അറിയുന്നവരുമായതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ കൂടുതലും സംസാരിക്കാൻ ആഗ്രഹിക്കുന്നത് ആംഗലേയ ഭാഷയിലാണ്. അത് മനസ്സിലാക്കുന്നവർ തന്നെയാണ് എൻ്റെ മുമ്പിലിരിക്കുന്നത് എന്ന ഉത്തമ ബോധ്യത്തോടെ അങ്ങനെ ഞാൻ തുടരുകയാണ്. At the outset itself, I just express my extreme humbleness and respect to the trust, Malliyoor Bhagavatam Trust, and this institution, who has been always a light and guide throughout the life of me and many of the people around this place. You know, Bhagavatam is speaking about the spirituality, and what the person, the master who was speaking just before me was speaking, was the context of this whole script called Bhagavatam, where a king was cursed by an ascetic person, an enlightened person, that he will die by the bite of a poisonous spiritual snake called 𝗕𝗃𝗃 in 7 days. Somebody left with just 7 more days on this planet Earth. How you are going to lead that life? Maybe this you can ask to yourself. If you are said that you only have 7 more days on this planet Earth, what will you do for the next 7 days? Is this context of Bhagavatam? You know, in Sanskrit, humans are called as martya. You know, martya means somebody who is dying. You know? Basically, the very word is that we are basically everybody, not only him. So here the context, Parishat, the king, represents each of us. This is a question that we all have to address. So in a sutra it says, देहापत्यकलत्रादिषु आत्मसैन्येषु असत्स्वपि तेषां प्रमत्तो निधनं पश्यन्नपि न पश्यति. Is a context which is equally relevant to all of us. Asatswabi atmasainyeshu. Atma, you know, is the soul or yourself. Atma Sainya. You know, the accompaniment, the army that accompanies you, the soul. Which are they? Deha, your own body. Apatya stands for your kids, your children, or even all relatives. Kalatra, your wife or your partner, life partner. Adishu. So, in a normal life, this Adi or etc. stands for anything. It can be your profession, it can be your friends, it can be, if you're a patriot, your country, your feeling for your country. So whatever you're identified with, what is your identity, whatever that matters for you, whatever is the most important thing for you, they are asatsu, they are not really something which is going to exist forever. So whatever you think now is the most important thing in your life, you think back, maybe a few years back, that was not there in your life at all. And maybe after a few years, that's not going to be in your life at all. Many things that you thought that was the biggest thing in your life, it can be a person, it can be a place, it can be a position, it can be a company, it can be anything. They are tesham pramatto nidhanam pashyan api na pashyati. So you're sure that this will get destroyed. Whatever you are attached to, let it be a person, let it be a position, let it be whatever, a profession, this is definitely something which is going to get destroyed. You know it. Let it be your own body. How many times we might be looking at in the mirror just to make up yourself. My guru used to say, how much of time we spend in washing our body and decorating our body, and what all fun we do with our own body to make it look like how you want to look like. But this is, we call it as sharira in Sanskrit, and sharira literally means shiryate anena iti shariraha, something which is constantly dying. You know that every moment in your body, millions of cells are dying in your body, right? Every moment in your body, there are thousands and millions of cells which are dying, and of course new cells are taking birth. So your body is something which is constantly destroying. It's not only when you die, but also every moment your cells are dying. And then you know that your body is something which is going to be destroyed, but you're so attached to it. So pashyan api na pashyati. It's a very interesting usage in poetry. Bhagavatam is also a beautiful poetry. So even though that you see that this is going to be destroyed, but you don't see it, or you don't want to believe it either. So you become pramattaha, you get intoxicated in your life with all these things, and you lead your life giving so much of importance to this impermanent thing. So this is the context of spirituality. What is the context of spirituality? When you find whatever is the most important thing for you in this life is impermanent, there is always a chance of a question that is there something permanent? Is there something permanent which can give, which we can relate to and which we can live for? Is the context of spirituality. If spirituality has a context, that is the framework of spiritual context. So he just brings this up, that dehapathya kalatradishu atmasainyeshu asasubhi tesham pramatto nidhanam pashyannapi na pashyati tasmad Bharata sarvatma bhagavan haririshwara srotavya kirtitavyasya smartavyascha icchata abhayam, it is told. So this was something which was asked by the king to the master, to the seer, to Sri Shuka Maharshi, the seer, Sri Shuka. He asked, what shall I listen to? Now I only have 7 more days left. What shall I listen to? What shall I chant? What shall I remember? What shall I meditate upon? And what shall I live to? Was the question. So Sri Shuka says, of course, the people who are lost in their material life has thousands of things to listen to and thousands of things to think to, but they are all impermanent and there is no point in thinking about it. But tasmad Bharata. So this word is quite controversial nowadays. You might be knowing that India is going to be called as Bharat now. Constitutionally, we are in the process of renaming India as Bharata. You know what does it mean, Bharata? The word Bha stands for light. Bha, Prabha, means light. Huh? Light stands for enlightenment, spiritual awakening, or spiritual knowledge. So Bha stands for spiritual light or spiritual knowledge. And Rata or Rati means joy or the pleasure. So Bharata means a country which was, dancing with joy out of the spiritual wisdom, which is full of enthusiasm and joy because of having so much of wisdom. So Bharata. So now Sri Shuka calls the king, Hey Bharata. Hey, the one who is, so joyful about gaining light, about getting enlightened. So Bharata and Bharata speaks about a state where your rati or your joy or pleasure is only focused on spiritual wisdom and spiritual awakening. So I feel it should be not only India, but the whole world should become Bharata. Right? The whole world should become Bharata, because that can only make a transformation. The whole world, the whole humanity, the whole living beings should try to find pleasure and joy in spiritual experiences, in spiritual wisdom, not in material pleasure. This is what he is trying to say. So he says, Hey Bharata, Sarvatma Bhagavan Haririshwaraha. So he introduces Hari, who is the Sarva Atma, who is the soul of everything, who is the one who is present in everything, who is the omniscient, the omnipresent consciousness. He tells, we are living for many things, but the one who enlivens all of you and everything is only one, and he is called Hari and Ishvara, Bhagavan. So these are words. Bhaga stands for a state of awakening where you know everything. You know about the present, about the past, about the future, about micro and macro cosm. That state of spiritual awakening is what is Bhaga, and the one who is having Bhaga is called as Bhagavan. So here he says, Hey Bharata, hey the one who is seeking light, you have to just focus on the one who is present in everything. Don't focus on multiple things. So there is somebody who is thus consciousness in everything, Sarvatma. And you can start Srotavya, you can listen to him, you can praise him, Kirtatavyascha, Smartavyascha, Ischata, Abhayam. If you are Ichchata, desirous of Abhayam. Abhayam is usually translated as shelter, but Abhayam, Bhayam means fear, and Abhayam means no fear. One of the biggest fear is death, right? Which Parishad have. Parishad is facing now death, which is one of the biggest fear. Now, if you are seeking a state where there is no fear, if you are looking for freedom from fear, Hey Bharata, hey, the one who search for light, there is a way. That you have to just listen and focus on one thing. Who is the soul of everything? Sarvatma. Who knows everything and who rules everything. So there is somebody. So you just start listening to him. He is Hari. And the word Hari represents Vishnu, who removes obstacles from your spiritual way. Hari and Hara. Hara is Shiva and Hari is Vishnu. It's a grammatical Harihara. Both names are evolved from the root Har, which means to destroy. So Hari is the one little bit melodious, a bit more gentle, that he destroys the obstacles from your life so that you can sustain your life joyfully. The one who destroys the obstacles in your spiritual evolution is one is Hari. So let us just focus on Hari. 𝗱𝗲𝗁 𝗳𝗂𝗺𝗀𝗃𝗀 स्वधर्मपरनिष्ठया जन्मलाभपरपुंसाम् अन्धे नारायणस्मृति. And now he says something, a shortcut here. For people maybe not really looking for liberation, but if you are facing death, when you near death, Ande, towards the end of your life, Narayana Smriti, if you can remember or if you can remain in focusing on the one who dwells in the Narayana, Narasya ayane sthitaha Narayana, the one who lives in the channels of human beings, in you, the life force, one who gives life to your life force is Narayana, the same Hari, who is the Atma of everything. If you can remember him at the time of death, Janmalabha Parapumsam, you get a better next birth, is a promise. So here is a quick fix for you. Okay, if you don't have time for intense spiritual practice, here's a shortcut. Here's a tip for you, that towards the end of your life, once you're near death, at the time of death, let us say at the time of death, if you can remember Narayana, the Hari, what the text promises you is that Janmalabha Parapumsam, Para Janmalabha, a better life. You will not go to a bad life. So it seems like even if you have done so many mistakes in your life or sins in your life, if you make sure that at the end of your life, if you remember or if you keep focusing on Narayana, you will have a better life. This is not going to liberate you, but you will have a better next birth, a rebirth which is next. Then it goes on, because this chapter, this context is very interestingly speaking about Sankhya and Yoga, which are, in India, in Indology, we have षड् darshanas, Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa, Uttaramimamsa, and Purvamimamsa, and Uttaramimamsa, or Vedanta. So these are षड् darshanas. And among them, by applying Sankhya and Yoga, then giving your life dedicated to your own dharma, swadharma paranisthaya. If you live your life following the dharma and then following the advices of Sankhya and Yoga, and make sure that you remember him at the end of your life, you will have a better rebirth. Now, he goes a bit more serious about the importance of spiritual practice by saying, Andakale tu purusha agade gada sadhvasa chindyad asanga shastrena spriham deha anuyechatam. Dehe anuyechatam, it is said. So andakale, at the time of death, agade, when it is arrived, gada sattvasa. So you should get devoid of fear. Then he gives you a weapon, a shastra. It is called asanga shastra. Sanga is attachment and asanga is non-attachment or detachment or not having contact. It is that sangad sanjayade raga. You develop craving with exposure and contact. So we have been discussing this. One of the important thing is to avoid unnecessary contact, unnecessary exposure, unnecessary attachment. So asanga shastrena spriham dehe chindyad. How to destroy your attachment or your love for impermanent things is the question. How to destroy your love for impermanent things, or how to disconnect yourself from unnecessary things. We know that we are attached to so many unhealthy things, right? We know that many things that we do is not so much healthy for us or is not helping us. Now he says, okay, there is no other way than avoiding the contact. Asanga shastrena. There is no other substitute. Now even to de-addict you have different pills, right? You have a nicotine addiction, you have a pill. You have an alcohol addiction, you have a pill. Right? So you try to destroy your addiction, your attachment, with a new attachment, a new exposure. You get a new addiction. Here in India, we have a tablet called Nicotex, which is nicotine itself, right? Which is used for de-addicting you from cigarette smoking. And I know people who are addicted to Nicotex. Now how shall we de-addict them from Nicotex? Because nicotine, it is also nicotine itself, right? So they find a tool which is sometimes equally destructive to disconnect from something which is destructive. So here he says, no, it's not with another substitute or another substance that you are going to disconnect from something which is unhealthy. Rather, he says, asanga shastrena. It is shastra. Shastra means a weapon. It's a weapon. It is sharp. You have to disconnect. Right? You have to be harsh on yourself. You have to say no. You cannot wane. You don't say, okay, now I reduce smoking from today. I was taking 20 cigarettes and now I reduce. This is not going to work. No, asanga shastra. You're stopping it, quitting it. You're just cutting it off. Right? So asanga shastrena. So here he gives, the moment you find that something is destructive, is taking you away from the reality, the weapon to address this is asanga shastra. Just detachment. Stop using it. Then what you have to do? You have to only focus on something positive. Now he says about how to do that practice. Okay, the first thing is to get disconnected. Once you're disconnected, once you're detached, how to lead a spiritual life is being addressed here. So probably for the people who really seek for spiritual wisdom, here he is saying what is the way towards spiritual experience and spiritual realization. He says, Grahat pravrajido dhira punyatirtha jalapluda shujau vivikta asino vidhivat kalpitasane. So, something which we have been discussing is addressed here. He says, Grahat pravrajido. You have to get out of your home. Grahat means from your home. Pravrajido. So you have to quit your home. You get out of your home. This is the first step. Nirtano. So Grahat Pravrajito. So if you are really a seeker, the first thing we have seen, like, your children, your wife, your assets, your car, your institution, this is your biggest addiction. So you get out of it. Grahad pravrajido dhira. He says, oh courageous person, dhira, because it needs a lot of courage. Right? To quit everything that you possess. To quit whatever you identified as yours. The people, the place, the possessions, the positions, your profession, everything. Pravrajita. You just give up. So, Griha, of course, literally stands for house, but it also stands for whatever you hold. Grihyate. Grahanam means to catch, also to occupy. So, whatever you occupy, whatever you hold on to, you quit that. You just give up that. Grahad pravrajita dhira. He says, you are courageous. Oh courageous man, you just quit everything that you possess. Then, punyatirtha jalapurda shujau vivikta asinu vidhivat kalpitasane. So here, he is referring to the Ashtanga yoga from here. Right? What are the Ashtanga yogas? Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. So, here, it's a very amazing, practical interpretation and application of the Ashtanga yoga being explained by Bhagavata Purana. It's an amazing application. Because even in Patanjali Yoga Sutra, we get to see the definitions of them, and the commentaries also slightly explain how to do it. But this is a beautiful application and interpretation of how to practice Ashtanga Yoga. And yoga is also a very controversial terminology now, right? Because the moment you speak about yoga, we are only thinking about standing on your head. Right? Because the word yoga has become a misnomer. It's identified with circus and exercise, which it is not originally speaking about. So here is a beautiful explanation of how to apply yoga for spiritual development and realization. It's a beautiful explanation. So the Yama and Niyama, they are explained in 3 words. Punyatirtha jalapluta. You should find a holy river or a holy lake or a holy source of water where you can dip and take bath. So Shaujam. Ahimsa satyamasteyam brahmacharya kshamadridi dayarjavam mitaharam shaucham chaiva yamadasha. This is originally the definition of, these are the dasha yamas. Ahimsa, non-violence. Satyam, truthfulness. Asteyam, not stealing or not even wanting somebody else's property. Brahmacharya. Brahmacharya is usually interpreted as abstaining from sex, but originally Brahmacharya stands for Brahme Charati. You move, you act only in the domain of wisdom and knowledge, spiritual knowledge. You are only interested in spiritual knowledge. That is Brahmacharya. So, Ahimsa, non-violence, Satyam, truthfulness, Brahmacharya, only interested in knowing and spiritual knowledge, Asteyam, not stealing somebody else's property, Ahimsa, Satyam, Asteyam, Brahmacharya, Daya, having compassion, Dhriti, having discrimination about what is good and what is bad, Arjavam, straightforwardness, Mita Aharam, having only less or sufficient food, not eating too much food, Shaujam, having all hygiene practices, being hygienic, being clean, not only physically but also verbally in your speech and also in your thoughts, being clean and pure. So these are yamas. So here, to represent the practice of yama, he said, Punyatirtha Jalapluda Shujau. So you clean yourself by dipping regularly in divine holy water, like Ganges or like whatever holy river, right? Vivikta Asina. Now, after Yama Niyama, he comes to Asana. You find a place to sit, Vidhivat, according to the instructions of the Yoga Sutras. According to the instructions, Vidhivat, Kalpita Asane. So there are different postures. Can you name some of them? Some of the postures, which is, can you do meditation in Shirshasana? In headstand? No. There are cross-leg postures, right? Usually for meditation and spiritual practices, there are few cross-leg postures like Padmasana, Siddhasana, Swastikasana, etc. Few Sukhasana, right? There are few cross-legged postures where your pelvis is open. You know, when you sit like on a chair, your pelvis is closed, right? The breath doesn't come down beyond your stomach area, into the spine, into the pelvis. The prana, the life force cannot travel further for the higher practices. Like we are going to speak about after asana, it is pranayama. So, for the pranayama, for the prana, for the breath to move further down, you need a cross-leg posture. We will see, even in the next chapter, he is also going to speak about the very definition of asana. What is the definition of asana? Sthiram Sukham Asanam is the definition of asana by Patanjali Yoga Sutra. What does Sthiram Sukham Asanam mean? A stable and a comfortable, Sthira and Sukha. Now, for me to speak to you, I should find myself in a stable posture, right? If my body is not finding a stability, if I am not able to find my stability in my posture, that will distract me. I have to hold myself somewhere, right? So I cannot be focused. So the first purpose of asana is to find sthira, stability. It's not just physical stability. Like my guru used to always ask, you sit straight, you sit straight. If you slightly go like this, he suddenly says, you sit straight. So, how you sit? If you sit like this, Your state of mind is different from you sit like this. Your whole consciousness change. Is it not? The very posture, how you keep your spine, how you keep your pelvis, how you keep your head, where you place your hands, how you keep your whole body in a stable position. It's not only finding your body in its right place, but also it's keeping your mind focused, stable. Your mind will be alert and focused. So sthiram. Next is sukham, comfortable. Right? So 𝗵𝗲𝗿𝗀𝗀𝗀 asane asina. You sit in any of the recommended yogasanas. Why? To find stability and comfort. Right? So you purify yourself, you clean yourself, you get rid of all the impurities that you have been accumulating in you through the n number of lives and sins that we have done in our life through Yama and Niyama. Right? Yama and Niyama is advised to, it's like a prayaschitta, it's like a penance. You abstain from himsa. Himsasteyam anyadhakamam paishunyam parusha anurta sambhinnalapa apadam abhidyam drigvibhadrayam papam karmeti dasadha kayavang manasai tyajed. It's told. So these are papa karmas, these are sinful acts. So when you follow Yama and Niyama, you are indirectly abstaining from sins and reversing the sins that you have been accumulating in the past lives and in this life. And now you seat yourself, find stability in a posture. So 𝗕𝗲𝗁. So when we practice even sun salutation, Surya Namaskara or various sequences, the purpose is to find lightness of your body such that you have health and you can seat yourself for hours, for days, for weeks together doing your spiritual practice. This is the purpose of asana. The purpose of asana, because you know, it starts from the understanding that you are not the body. So the purpose of the asana is not to make your body healthy. The purpose of the asana is to find stability and find a comfortable posture and position so that you can continue in your spiritual journey. Then what to do? Abhyasen manasa shuddham 𝗕ର୍ବ੍રહ્માક્ષરમ param mano યચ્છેદ jidashvaso brahmabijam avismaran. It is said. Now this is the reference of pranayama. So after Yama, Niyama, Asana, the next is pranayama. So now a very interesting technique of pranayama is advised. A specific pranayama technique is advised. We know that there are different types of pranayamas. There is Surya Bhedana pranayama, there is Chandra Bhedana pranayama, there are Shitkari, Shitali, right? There are different types of pranayamas being explained in various scriptures like Hatha Yoga Pradipika. But here in Bhagavata Purana, he is explaining a special pranayama technique here. It is something very similar to what we do or what we are practicing daily. What is it? Abhyased. Abhyased means practice. Satata kriyam. You do it repeatedly. What? Manasa. In your mind. Shuddham. 𝗕ର୍ବ੍રહ્માક્ષરમ param. The Brahmakshara, which is Aum. Param, the most supreme Brahmakshara, which is 𝗕𝘀, which has 3 segments of it. It has 𝗕𝘀. What is that 𝗕𝘀? What is the 3 segments of Aum? A, U and M. Right? So, Aum. So, you practice Aum Manasa in your mind. And Manoyajnet Jitashwaso Brahma Bijam Avismaran. Then the mind will calm down. Mano Yached. When you do this practice, the mind will calm down. When you practice pranayama, breathing exercise, which probably we can do because we are only 20 people, we will practice it now, right, in this holy place. Why not? If you can practice pranayama by keeping and keeping your mind focused on Brahma Bija, Brahma Bijam, this cosmic consciousness, the one who is present in everything, the one who has created everything, the whole universe. So you keep your mind focused on Brahma, Brahma Bijam, Avismaran, without forgetting. You keep your mind focused in the Brahma and chant and do pranayama. Your mind, Yached, will calm down. You know, the mind is the biggest problem, right? In one of the scriptures that we learn in Ayurveda, called Ashtanga Sangraham, it starts with a beautiful prayer which compares your mind to a toxic snake. Your mind is compared to a toxic snake. It goes like this: 𝗕𝘀𝗃𝗀𝗃 asatvikalpashirasam pradvesha chanjadbhanam kamakrodhavisham vitarkadasanam raga prachandekshanam prajna mandrabalena yas shamitavan buddhaya tasmai namah. So it's a salutations to Buddha. Buddha can be Buddha, but Buddha is also a synonym for Vishnu. In the Vishnu Sahasranama, Buddha is also one of the namas for Vishnu, who has enlightened, who has prabodhanam, who has, got that buddhi is Buddha, who has cleared his buddhi, who has fixed his buddhi in the cosmic consciousness is Buddha, some Buddha. So there, Swasharira Kodarashare, the Swasharira Kodaram, in the whole of your own body, there is a Chitta Uragam. Uragam means snake, called Chitta. In the hollow of your body, there is a toxic snake. Be careful. There is a toxic snake within your body. Who is it? It's your own mind. Can you get me some water? Thank you. Sorry. And how big is this snake? How long is the snake? 𝗕𝘀𝗃𝗀𝗃. How big is your ambition? How ambitious you are? That big is the snake. The modern world teaches our children to be ambitious. You tell them, you be ambitious. But Indology says that's dangerous. That's dangerous to be ambitious. Your snake is going to be too big. 𝗕𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀. And what is this toxin that your snake has? 𝗂𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀. The toxins are kama and krodha. This mind will attack people either with lust and libido or with anger. It attacks, it will destroy others, it will project yourself by kama and krodha. So mind is seen as this snake, which is a garland on the neck of Shiva, the consciousness, your soul. So you have to term your mind. You have to term your mind so that even you can use it like a garland. So we have been speaking about like how in the story a dead snake was kept on the body of 𝗵𝗲𝗀. A saint. So we know that our mind is the problem. And how to term the mind, how to control the mind, how to have command on the mind. Now we are slaves of the mind. We agree or not? We are slaves of the mind. What we should eat is decided by your mind. Whom we should meet is decided by the mind. The whole world around you is decided by your mind. So you are a slave of your mind. And now, to begin with, you have to command and you have to term your mind. And what is the way? How to catch him? The way is breath. The tool to catch your mind is breath. Your breathing. 𝗕𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀 says, चले वाते चलम चित्तम, निश्चले निश्चलम भवेद. 𝗕𝗲𝗃𝗀𝗃𝗀 says, when your breath, when the vayu is chala, your chitta is chala. And if you can calm your breath, your mind will stop. There is a connection between your mind and breath. You see, when you become angry, your heart rate goes faster. Is it not? Your breath goes faster. You get choked when you are really angry. You cannot breathe because your respiratory rate goes so high. So now, it is your mind who decides your breath. In normal life, when you sleep, your mind is switched off in deep sleep. Your mind is completely switched off in a deep sleep, and you see, you sleep like a baby then. You have such a deep, nice breathing in deep sleep. Because your mind, your snake is sleeping. The trouble is off. And you have such a beautiful breath. And when your mind is active, your breath is getting shorter and shorter. Right? And now, you are given with a tool. You see, you can catch your mind with your breath. You take long and deep breath, your mind starts calming down. Right? It's simple. If a tensed state or an upset state of mind can raise your heart rate, if you breathe fast, your mind will also get fast. If you breathe slowly and deeply, your mind will get calmer and calmer. You know, in medicine, in physiology, we say there are involuntary and voluntary actions. There are actions that we do consciously, and there are actions that we do unconsciously. It's called involuntary actions. Involuntary actions are controlled by your autonomous nervous system. You have no control on that, right? Can you decide how many times your heart has to beat every minute? Can you control how you can produce liver enzymes? Can you control the production of any of your enzymes and hormones? But you are doing it, right? You are doing it. So there is an unknown you. You don't know him. It's you. You do it, right? You produce it. There's nobody else in your body doing it for you. It's you yourself. But you're not conscious about it. So there is an unconscious you, whom you are not familiar with. There is somebody in you, or another aspect of you, is doing all these things, and we have to catch him. It is him who is doing breathing. And breath and breathing is a bridge between the voluntary and the involuntary actions. So until this time, you are breathing, but you were not conscious about the breath. You are breathing unconsciously, right? You are breathing unconsciously. But now, you can also breathe consciously, right? You can control breath consciously. So breath or breathing is a bridge, is a meeting point of the involuntary and voluntary you. So your consciousness can meet the unconscious you there. The moment you start focusing on your breath, you start commanding on your mind, this unconscious mind. We only know about the conscious mind. We have no control on the subconscious mind. We have no control at all on the unconscious mind. But the way to meet your subconscious mind and the unconscious mind is by listening to your breath and taking the thread and the command of your breath. The moment you start breathing consciously, you start mastering your life. It's called Pranayama. It's not Shwasayamam, you see. It's not a mastery on your breath. It's mastery on your life force. It's a mastery on your prana. So if you can master your breath, you can master your life. You can master your life force. Right? And now, there's a beautiful advice here. You infiltrate, you awake a spiritual power into the breath. You instill, you spray, you sprinkle, you pour, you shower the bliss of the divine into your breath. How? By Shuddham 𝗕𝘀 Brahmaksharam Param Abhyased. By practicing the threefold Brahmakshara, Aumkara, Manasa in your mind while doing Pranayama. It's a great secret. It's a great technique. It's a great tool. Mano 𝗕𝗃𝗃, the mind will calm down for sure. It's a great tool for the people who have lot of psychological problem, lot of psychological stress, we know the disease, all the diseases are from mind. All the diseases. Ragadi roga, satata anushaktan, asheshakaya prasudan, asheshan, ಔತ್ಸುಕ್ಯ ಮೋಹ ಅರದಿದಾನ್ ಜಘಾನ ಯ ಅಪೂರ್ವ ವೈದ್ಯಾಯ ತಮೋಸ್ತು ತಸ್ಮೈ. ರಾಗಾದಿ ರೋಗಾ, the diseases are raga, dvesha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, arishad vargas. We have only these 6 enemies. We have only these 6 source of diseases. So, every disease is originated from the mind, right? No doubt. So, if a person is having a smoker's disease, let us say it is thromboangiitis obliterans, inflammation of your arteries leading to clot formation and obstruction of your arteries. The cause is smoking, but the cause is not smoking, the cause is mind. Right? Because the smoker knows better than the doctor that smoking is going to kill him. If the doctor doesn't smoke, doctor only knows it, but he knows it better, the patient knows it better than the doctor, that he is killing himself. So what is the problem? The problem is he is not able to help him. He is not able to help himself. Is the real problem. The problem is there. The problem is the mind. That he, even if, I have personally seen a person who has amputed both legs because of smoking, who had to cut off his both legs because of smoking with his hands in the hospital. Can you imagine? What is this disease? He don't have even 2 legs and he died in few weeks. So, where is the disease? The disease is not in the smoke. The disease is in the mind. Every disease has its root in the mind. And how to control that mind, how to catch that mind, 𝗕𝗃𝗃, breath. So we will just practice that breath, shall we? We will just practice a pranayama where we will inhale the pranayama that we do. Is it okay? Pranayam ചെയ്യിച്ചുകൊണ്ട് കുഴപ്പമുണ്ടോ? ഇല്ലല്ലോ. So we will do that. We will do a practice of pranava pranayama where we will breathe into our pelvis. We will exhale by chanting Aum. Right? You can sit in the position where you are sitting. Seat yourself comfortably. Keep your spine straight. Keep your spine straight. Seat yourself comfortably. Keep your hands on your laps, palms facing upward. Keep your hands on your palms, on your laps, palms facing upwards. And close your eyes. Just close your eyes. Keep your spine straight. And we are going to breathe into the spine and bring the breath down to the pelvis. You see, your breath goes where your mind stays. So you keep focusing on your spine and try to bring the breath into your spine and breathe into the pelvis and hold the breath in the pelvis. Then we will exhale by chanting Aum, just Aum. Again we will breathe into the pelvis and chant Aum. We will do it 6 times. You ready? Okay. Inhale and hold the breath in your pelvis. Inhale again. Hold the breath in the pelvis. Inhale again. Relax your breath and slowly open your eyes. Look at the Bhagavad Rupa, the form of Bhagavan. So this is told to be a great practice of chanting Pranava, but in 𝗕 Rupa, in 3 letters, A, U, M. By keeping your mind focused on the Brahma, the Brahma Bija, the creator of everything, and controlling your mind just calms down. It's so great to see further in these 2 chapters which was assigned to me, that Srimad Bhagavatam advises great tools to do pratyahara, a beautiful advice for doing dharana. How to do dharana? Beautifully. 2 kinds of dharana. Into a Virat Rupa, to this whole cosmic body, the whole universe, which is beyond human brain's understanding, beyond the understanding of all the sciences and astronomy. Which we don't know how big is this universe. You visualize, you do the dharana of the Brahma, of the Virat Purusha, of the Vishnu in this whole universe, and do the dharana. And then do a dharana into your heart and visualize him in the size of your thumb within your heart. And then disconnect and just stay. Your duty is finished. It is said. So beautiful instructions on pratyahara, dharana, dhyana and samadhi. So everything is told in these 2 great chapters about the spiritual practice, the whole way. Beginning from grahad pravisarjayet, pravrajayet. So, you quit whatever you have held, give up and start your journey. I am humbled again to be in this place in the lotus feet of Malliyoor Bhagavathamritha. It's a family to me, it's an extended family to me. It's a great honor and privilege always to talk to Parameshwaran Namboodiriji ji and have guidance and blessings, and whenever I travel abroad, I come here and get his blessings. So it's a great pleasure to be connected, to be rooted in this tradition and lineage of Bhagavatam, which is an amazing script. There is nothing which is not explained in Bhagavatam, it is said. There is nothing that is not explained in Bhagavatam. So, I express my deepest gratitude and pleasure and respect and reverence to this whole yajna, Bhagavata Satra, and to the family and to the trust, and I prostrate in front of this great lineage of uninterrupted wisdom of Bhagavata, and may Almighty take this to much, much bigger heights, that this flame that they hold spread across the globe, and let us also join them within our strength in this mission. Hari Om. Shubhamastu param tato jagada.